Jan Riordan, the Vice President of Healthy Living at the Greater Burlington YMCA, and I am also a facilitator for Vtrim, which is an online evidence-based weight management program. Vtrim gives two offerings. There's a 12-week program, which would meet once a week for 12 weeks, and then there's also a 24-week program, which again does meet once a week for 24 weeks, and typically the class size is 10 to 15 people per class.
I'm Alison Weinhagen. I'm a Vtrim participant. I participated in the University of Vermont's research-based online weight management and behavioral management program through my employer at work. Part of the program involves an online facilitated component where folks in groups of 12 to 20 get together in a chat room and talk about that week's lesson and what worked or what didn't work. You may know some of the people in your group, you may not.
One of the best things about Vtrim Online is the fact that if you have friends and relatives out across the United States, you can really choose this time to come together. So a facilitator is online to be able to meet with the group once a week. So that's a predetermined time, say Tuesdays at 6 o'clock, and that way you're all on there really chatting back and forth online. In addition to that, you have what's called a journal, and that's what the facilitator is reviewing, and you put that in online as well.
So not only is Vtrim a weight management program, it's a behavior management program, and while that sounds like maybe a little bit of research speak, they really do have what I consider the trifecta, which is the chat room, the weekly lessons with your facilitator, you've got the journaling of food and exercise, and you've got the weekly lessons. And those three together really combine to make sure that you can make those lifelong changes and really change your relationship with food and with exercise and enjoy it along the way.
The Vtrim website is great. As far as digital tools that are available, there's what's called a pantry, and it has all the different food items with nutritional values and information, so recommendations are made on what should be eaten. We also have exercise information so that you know how many calories you're burning during particular exercises. So there's all sorts of information there, as well as logging in a journal of what you have actually eaten and what your physical activity is. So you have that ongoing information to review, and the facilitator would review that information as well.
One of the other important tools is the online journal, which is used to keep track of your food and your exercise. And in that food journal, you can enter recipes that you make on your own or fill a pantry with things you normally eat. So it's really easy to pull that stuff right into your journal and keep track of what you're eating and portion control, and your facilitator will go in once a week and make comments on that. And really there's a back and forth there that happens outside of the chat room. The facilitator is the only one who can see your journal for those purposes. So you've got that weekly chat room, and you've got the food journaling. You also log all your exercise, and you work up to burning 2,000 calories a week.
As the facilitator, we work together one-on-one in establishing the goals for each person, and then in addition to that, we have a weigh-in every week. And then what's really nice is the social friendships that form, and this is people throughout the United States, obviously the luxury of being online. And what I have found is many people have formed great friendships, so they're in touch with each other throughout the week, not just during that 1 hour of class time. And even once the class is over, many friends have maintained that relationship and have even hooked up in person and traveled with one another after the class has been over. So it's really been a nice social piece. Vtrim results show that people lose an average of 2 pounds per week. So in the 12-week program, that's 24 pounds of weight loss. And then in the 24-week program, it's 48 pounds of weight loss. And the best part is people keep that weight off.
So as the benefits manager at my employer, I started using Vtrim Online with a group of our employees when we first tried it out back in September 2009. We had just done health screenings in-house for our employees, and my numbers were worse than the prior year, and I was approaching my 40th birthday and really needed to do something about it. I'd been overweight for about 20 years. And it was at the point where I could either start labeling myself as hypertensive and pre-diabetic, or I could change the way I was living my life. So I decided to enroll in the Vtrim program and sort of walk the talk and share with our employees as the benefits manager what living a healthful lifestyle could be all about. The social support that I got from the folks at work was amazing. We supported each other in that group, and over 10 months I ended up losing 106 pounds and have kept it off. I hit my goal weight with that weight loss in August of 2010 and have been maintaining it ever since. The online website, when I started the program, had a picture of a woman running on the front, and I've always been a walker and somewhat of a hiker, and I thought to myself, you know, I'm going to lose the weight, but that's never going to be me. I'm never going to be that person, but I'll be happy if I can just lose a little bit of weight. And last May, I ran my first 5K, and my employer had a relay team at the Vermont City Marathon, and I ran the first leg of that, which was also a 5K. This year I'll be running a two-person relay, so I'll be running a half marathon in the Vermont City Marathon.
Throughout the program, as well as at the end of the program, when we talk about what Vtrim has done for people, what I love the most is listening to the stories about how people have really looked in the mirror and said, you know, there's my friend again. They just feel like I'm back to who I was, I'm active, my family wants to spend time with me, I have friends that I've reconnected with, and you just feel much better about being active and being out and about.
So I've always been what I felt like was a healthy eater, and I've cooked healthful meals for my family. We do most of our cooking from fresh ingredients and not boxed ingredients, but I think a lot of the problem for me was some of my after dinner eating habits and portion control. Going back for seconds, using larger plates and trying to fill that whole plate and most of it with the main dish. And Vtrim really speaks to that portion control and gets you comfortable with smaller portions slowly over time. I never felt hungry or deprived throughout this whole program, and I think part of what I was scared of was I'm going to be hungry all the time and I'm not going to be able to stick with it, and they're going to tell me I can't eat certain things, which they absolutely don't do. And my other concern was exercise. You know, for me, walking the dog was exercise. I wasn't a huge exerciser. Every once in a while, we'd go for a hike, and I would be trailing far behind my husband and my son. And now, sometimes I'll run ahead of them. The exercise portion of the program ramps up so slowly, you really won't even notice it's happening. And you talk about it at each facilitated discussion every week. And by the time you get to the point where you really should be for a healthful lifestyle, you wonder how you couldn't have found time for it before. I think the program for me was really a life changer. It came to me at the right point in my life. I was ready for it. And that just group of 3 things that program does, from the chat room and the journaling and the weekly lessons, really worked to get me where I needed to be so that I could just move on with my life in the healthful way that I have been.